Hi everyone, I am Bhumika Rathi. Welcome to my channel. On this channel, we are doing practices for competitive exams in which I am going to cover your English grammar at the very first. So today we are beginning with a new topic, that is preposition. So let's see. In the very first, we will see the definition of preposition. So preposition is a word or group of words that is used before a noun or a pronoun, and it shows relation with the other words. For example, there is a cat sitting under the table. So here cat and table both are noun, and how the relation between them can be seen? It can be seen through preposition. So here under is behaving as preposition over here. And the second example that we have is we need a roof over us. So roof and us. Roof is a noun and us is pronoun, and the relation between them can be seen through preposition over. Then the third example we have is I go to school by bus. So here I, school and bus. The relation between them can be seen through these two prepositions. Here we have very important note that says a preposition may not always come before a noun or a pronoun. For example, who was he talking to? So here preposition has come to the last, and this has not been used before a noun or a pronoun. Alright. Then second example we have here is he doesn't have a pen to write with. So here to and with both are preposition. Alright. Now here we have some confusing pairs. Many of you forget the difference between them. So let's see. First is between and among, beside, besides, for, since, across, through, on, upon, in, into, over, above, if implied, by or with, before, in front of, at, in, with, within, in spite of, despite. Alright, now let's see. First we have is among and between. Among is used when referring to more than two. Alright, whereas between means in the middle of two, as here you can see this one. First, let's see this one. We have some examples over here. First example we have is a lot of cooperation is needed among the different states to combat naxalism. So here among is referring to more than two, we can see. So different states, lots means more than two states required for that. Then second example we have alms were distributed among the beggars. So here beggars are more than two, so we have used among. Then we have third example, the teacher distributed sweets among them. Alright, so among has been used for more than two. Now let's see between examples for between. The match will be played between India and Australia. Alright, between India and Australia. So between two. So we will use preposition between. There is one important note that we have is between can also be used for more than two when there is mutual relationship. Alright, this is very important. For example, there is a tournament to be played between India, Australia and New Zealand. So here it is more than two, so and they have a mutual relationship. So we have used between. Then we have there is an alliance between three European nations. So here three European nations, more than two, and for that we have used between. Alright, now let's see some rules for between. Rule number 1 says after between use the objective case. Objective case in pronouns that we have. For example, there is no enmity between him and me. Instead of saying he and I, we will say him and me. Alright. Then we have second rule, use and after the word, after the preposition between. So let's see the example. The meeting will be held between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. So here along with between we will use and. Alright. Now third rule we have is after between, if noun or pronoun is present, so it should be in plural form. For example, between the countries. So here between is at first, then we have noun and it is in plural form. Then we have between the students. So here students is in plural. Then we have between them. So them is a plural one of pronoun. And at last we have between us. Alright, now moving to the next one. Here we have rule number 4, which says don't use each or every after the preposition between. For example, between each boy, it becomes incorrect. Then we have between every girl, it also becomes incorrect. Here we have very important one, that is among, amongst. Amongst is having the same meaning as among, and both can be used before the, among the boys or amongst the boys. Here we have one more important thing that you need to note. Among, before a consonant sound we will use among. For example, among them, and amongst will be used whenever we have a vowel sound before that. For example, us, amongst us. So here we have a vowel sound before among, so we will use amongst. All right, now let's see amid. They are also used for more than two. They follow the same rule as among and amongst and can be used with uncountable nouns. This is very important. For example, the bill was passed amid pandemonium. Then we have you are sitting amidst us and talking against us. So here the pronunciation, whether it is consonant sound or a vowel sound, you have to see, and according to that you have to use amid and amidst. All right, then second confusing pair we have is beside and besides. Beside means by the side of. For example, he sat beside me, it means he sat by the side of me. All right, and besides, beside means in addition to. All right, for example, besides his children, his nephews and nieces were also present at the ceremony. All right, so in addition to children we have nephews and niece. Now moving to the next one. The third one is for and since. For is used for duration and since is the starting point. First we will see for, then I will explain you since. Use for with duration. For example, whenever we have perfect tense and perfect continuous tense, along with that we will use for. For example, I have eaten nothing for a long time. So here have eaten, you can see, is a perfect tense, and along with that we have used for, and we have a duration over there, a long time. All right, then we have second example. She has been living here for 10 years. So has been living is used for perfect continuous tense, and along with that we have a duration of 10 years. For that we will use for preposition. Now we will see the since one. Since is for the starting point. Now here we have one more important thing, that is for. It also means for the benefit of. This is very important. For example, the police are for our safety. So here for is a preposition, but the meaning changes. It means for the benefit of. All right, now we will see the use of since. Since is a preposition with a starting point. For example, I haven't seen him since 2009. So here since, the starting point was since 2009 I haven't seen that person. All right, now the word since, the preposition since also means because. It is as similar as for. Here we have the different meaning for, and here we have different meaning for since too. For example, since he drove recklessly, he met with an accident. Because he drove recklessly, he met accident. We can also say that. All right, this is very important. Now here we have some rules. Since, because, as. Along with them we will not pair so and therefore. That becomes incorrect. For example, since I was ill, so I couldn't come. So we cannot use so along with since. Instead of saying that directly, we will say since I was ill, I couldn't come. All right. Second we have is with because. We will not use so directly. We will say because I was ill, I couldn't come. This is very important. Many of the students forgot this during exam. But here we have an exception. Whenever phrases are there, along with that it becomes correct. For example, as you sow, so shall you reap. So along with as we have used so, and it's correct. Why? Because we have a phrase over here. Alright, now moving on. Yes. Now we have across and through. Across means across means from one side to another. For example, I swam across the river. I was here and I swam across this river to this side. So the side has been changed from one side to another. Whereas for through means passing through something. For example, the train passed through the tunnel. So here we have a tunnel, and through that tunnel I have passed. So that we will use through. And second we have is the message was conveyed to me through her. So here I am here and she gave me a message, and through her the message was given to me, and through me the message was given to someone else. All right, the message was conveyed to me. All right, the message was conveyed to me through her. So through her the message was conveyed to me. All right. Now here we have some other uses of across. One meaning we have is opposite side. For example, he is waiting for me across the road. Means there is a road, and across that road the person is waiting for me. Alright, like this side, and I am here. Alright, across the road. Opposite side. Second we have is across. Means blocking both sides. For example, a tree fell across the railway line. Means from this side to that side we have to go, and across. The tree fell across the railway line. So now here we have two sides, the left side and the right side, we can say. All right. Now here we have one more is come across. Come across means meet accidentally. For example, I came across my childhood friend. All right, like I met accidentally with that person. Here we have some notes. Don't use suddenly with come across. Suddenly I come across with my childhood friend. That becomes incorrect. Alright, directly we will say come across. I came across my childhood friend. Alright, then we have don't use with. Alright, with that it becomes incorrect. Directly we will say I came across him. Now moving on. Here we have on and upon. On means in contact. For example, the book is on the table. It means the contact between the table and the book is negligible. It is not visible. So we can say there is contact between them. So it is on the table. Whenever we have motion onto, so we will use upon. For example, the cat jumped upon the rat. So cat was here. Initially the cat was here. As soon as the cat saw the rat, it jumped upon the rat. So there is a motion. Alright. Now then we have is over. Above without touching. For example, we need a roof over our head. So the roof is not touching our head, but it is over our head. So if the roof is on our head, so we have contact with the roof, but it is not in the contact. There is gap between us. There is a gap between roof and our head. So we will say over. All right. This is very important. One more example we have is bridge over the river. So river and bridge, they both are having some distance between them. So we will use over, not on. All right. Then we have covering something. Whenever we are covering something, so we will use over, not on. For example, put a blanket over the baby. So many of you gonna say the blanket is in the contact, but here as I told you, covering something, with that we will use over. All right. Now over and under. Whenever we have vertical position, with that we will use accordingly. For example, there is a fan over our head. So fan is over our head. All right. Over, vertical direction, so we will use over. Then we have a cat is sitting under the table. So here we will use the cat is sitting under the table. So we have vertical position, with that we have used under. All right. since we are the initial point, and according to us we will have the changes. If something is above us, so we will use over, and something is below, so we will use under. All right. Now this one we will see in the next video. So this is all for today. Meet in the next video. Thank you.